Come on, everybody, it's the Terry Sullivan Show. Today's guest from Parma Pasta and Pizza, Adrian Doko. Now the man who just disappointed me, he got up and walked away, but he came back. Here he is, it's Terry Sullivan.
The music was so bad I had to take a leave.
Wow, really? You went there?
The restroom was much better for me to go. You're so good on that guitar.
Oh, hush.
Hey, is that the only instrument you play?
Oh, no.
You play the radio too?
Yeah, I play the radio.
Well, wait a minute. What other instruments do you play as good as you play that guitar?
Bass. Bass is my number one instrument.
Oh, no kidding.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I play in most bands. But I go back and forth.
Which do you enjoy most?
I like them both.
Yeah.
Bass comes definitely more natural. I've been doing that for so many years. But I love playing guitar too.
Yeah. So in your band, you play the bass?
Yes. But I also play guitar. When the guitar player can't be there, I'll move to guitar and the bass player comes in.
In my mind, I'm just thinking right now, I just hope you're a lot better at the bass than that guitar. I don't know what to say about that.
Well, next show I'll bring the bass and I'll just do a bass performance.
I have Adrian with me today. Adrian, so
Pleasure.
good to have you here. Adrian owns Parma. You know, I didn't know that restaurant existed until last year, and I ate there. And I thought, it just doesn't get any better than this. Give me the history of that restaurant. Because you've been there like 20 years.
At least, yeah. We're one of Lewisville's best kept secrets. And that's intentionally. We do no advertising. Word of mouth is our only advertising. But like you said, we've been there for over 20 years. And we've been serving the community or the whole Metroplex for that time. And it's just been a phenomenal experience.
You know, Adrian, I went there. The first time I went there was on a Friday night, and it was just packed. People were waiting for tables, and I'm looking around, I'm going, how did I not know that this place was here? And the food is just phenomenal. It's really authentic Italian food, and we're going to get into that. But tell me about your grandfather, because your grandfather came over to Ellis Island, and tell me about that.
Well, that was actually my father, but my grandfather and great-grandfather, we have a rich history in food, essentially. Our grandparents were responsible for all of the dairy in the neighborhood back home in Macedonia, not only the dairy, but the cheese, the cattle, etc. But my father migrated in the summer of '69 through Ellis Island, you know, via Rome, through Italy. And he came to this country and started his first restaurant. After a short stint working for Ford Motor Company, he saved up and opened up his own pizza shop in Paterson, New Jersey.
And that's where you started?
That's where it all started.
Did you work in the restaurant with him?
As soon as I was tall enough to reach the dish station, even before that, I used to sneak in a milk crate and just stand on that and wash dishes for Pops. But it was an amazing and eye-opening experience.
You know, New Jersey's a long way from Lewisville, Texas. But now, wait a minute, do you still have family in Macedonia?
We do. We actually visit every year. We have... We're a pretty substantial family, and we still have our roots tied into farming back home, but the kiddos, the whole family will be going this summer. We make a trip at least once a year, COVID permitting, of course, but it's just an amazing experience, a completely different planet and lifestyle back home.
Yeah, yeah. In what way? I mean, take me to Macedonia. I've always wanted to go, never been.
Oh, it's beautiful. Just the quality of life is amazing. You know, ancient cobblestone streets, beautiful scenery. One of the oldest and largest natural lakes in the world. That's kind of why we gravitated towards Lewisville. We saw that lake and we just, what a beautiful opportunity to reminisce, but just overall amazing. And a lot of people don't know about Ohrid is an ancient city. It's just a beautiful scenery. And unfortunately the economy is not that good. And during the communism times is when my dad kind of migrated towards Italy and then to America, where he found abundant opportunity.
So your family is still into farming in Macedonia?
Well, even here in Lewisville, we still raise chickens, and we have our own garden here at our house. We have a little indoor, horticulture set up. So we've never lost our tradition of farming. But yes, even till this day, we still own a farm back home in Macedonia.
Now, the growing that you do, even here in Lewisville, do you use some of those plants or some of those vegetables in the restaurant?
Yeah, we've brought some heirloom seeds for our tomatoes and peppers specifically. They have some variants that you can't find at Home Depot or Walmart here. So we tend to bring those older plants to reminisce on the good old days.
So growing up in Jersey, Dad's got a pizza shop. You called him Pops. Pops got a pizza shop. Is he still alive?
Yes, he is.
And is your mom still alive?
Absolutely. They still work at the restaurant. They come and help out.
Here in Lewisville?
Here in Lewisville, yeah.
No kidding.
Pops is security. He makes sure everyone's up to par on work, And
well, he's from Jersey.
Yeah, he's our security detail.
No kidding. So they moved. So take me to Jersey, to Lewisville. How did that happen?
That's a great question. So essentially we were born and raised in Paterson, New Jersey, which is a really rough neighborhood. I'm not sure if you ever watched that movie Lean on Me with Joe Clark, but very tough upbringing and really instilled a lot of this hard work mentality as a kid. But it was an amazing experience because we were so fortunate. Like I said, my dad worked at Ford. He was able to save up and purchase his own restaurant. And I was one of those cool kids in school that, we owned the restaurant. So everyone was super jealous because I had the best food. I used to bring my own lunch to school and also had the opportunity to have birthday parties at our restaurant and other events. So Paterson was really tough.
You had pizza. What kid? I mean, you got to be the most popular.
Exactly.
Adrian, bring the pizza.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was an amazing experience. And then I was back and forth in Texas. We still have a lot of family here that migrated from New York, New Jersey to Texas in the mid '80s. And I started coming around the '90s is when I really fell in love, specifically in Lewisville because of the lake, like I stated. And then finally, after 9/11 is when we said, that's it, enough is enough. And we weren't raising a family there, so we migrated to Lewisville, Texas.
Yeah, but the culture, it had to be a culture shock for you. In a good way, right?
Absolutely. The people were so friendly. Usually you're accustomed to seeing someone on the East Coast, they give you that mean eye and what the hell are you looking at? You come to Texas, people say, howdy, how are you? They're very helpful and that southern hospitality is just an amazing experience to behold.
But you're all about that. I mean, you go into Parma, to your restaurant, and it's just all smiles, whether it's you or your wife that works in the restaurant with you, or your employees. Everybody's it's so friendly. You engage in that hospitality. So, when did you open Parma? 20 years ago.
Yep, April 3rd, 2003 is what the document, the permit says from the city of Lewisville. And the first couple of years was a little tough because we didn't have an advertising or marketing budget, but through our hospitality and the quality of the food, which is one of the most important details a lot of people overlook, we started slowly expanding and growing our customer base.
It takes a minute. I mean, in our business, in the restaurant business, if you don't have the funds to hold the time, it's a hard road. It takes a minute. But at Parma, unlike commercial Italian restaurants, we consider it a mom and pop shop, just like my barbecue restaurant. But your entrees Adrian, your entrees are so fresh. Now, I've eaten there several times, and every time I eat there, the quality is the same. The entrees are always fresh. It has flavors that you can't get at other Italian restaurants. How'd you come up with all that?
That's part of the culture with Italian cuisine. You know, my dad grew up working in other Italian restaurants before he opened his, as did I. And one of the main themes in all Italian cuisine is quality ingredients. And we try to source the most quality ingredients that are available to us. So that's probably one of the reasons of our success is we've aligned ourselves with several distributors in the neighborhood or in Lewisville that could provide a lot of these quality ingredients that we need to source.
Yeah. What's your favorite item on your menu? Your personal.
My favorite, it's going to be tough. It's like choosing a baby, but the chicken Murphy is one of our most popular dish. An Italian-Irish dish that's a little spicy for most, but it's got that pink vodka sauce with fresh organic chicken breast, onions, peppers, mushrooms over a nice bed of pasta. You can't lose. I mean, it's just...
What about the pizza? I mean, everything's done by hand. I watch your guys flip, roll, and all that kind of stuff. But you have unique pizzas there. How'd you come up with those?
Well, the pizza is one of our pride and joys because you can't find our you know, we have people that are driving from Oklahoma for our pizza just because they used to come from New York and New Jersey and they can't find that locally there. But, you know, just like I stated earlier, it depends on the quality of ingredients. You know, we use bottled water to create our dough. We have a special flour that doesn't cut corners. You know, we use an unbleached, really high-end flour to make our dough. And you know, one of the things that I say to a lot of my guests is that, you know, we use these high-quality ingredients because we want our guests to stick around a lot longer. We don't want to use preservatives or additives or cut corners or get cheaper products that are inferior to what the Italian cuisine calls for, because we want our patrons to be around a lot longer. You know, the way you eat, it really determines your health a lot of these times. So we try to focus on high quality ingredients.
You know, it's hard when you're from New York and Jersey, and it's hard to find really New York style pizza down here in Texas. And I hear people talk about it from time to time, asking where do I find that real New York pizza? And you have it there.
Yeah, we've been doing it for a while. I've worked for some high-end pizza joints in New York, like Famous Ray's Pizza, those from back home, and a few other ones, Scarlatos and Macalusos. So we have a rich history, you know, in the pizza space. And Dad had a place for over 15 years in New Jersey. I mean, that was the central hub when it came to pizza.
Yeah. So what's your wife's name?
Selene.
Selene.
Yes.
And she works in the restaurant.
She works there
harder than you do.
Most of the time. She's the big boss.
She's the big boss. And how long have you been married?
Oh, it's going on 24 years now.
Yeah. She's very friendly. I mean, and you know what? This is what I noticed about her as a restaurant owner. When you walk in the door, she's got you. I mean, I watch her. When I have waited on my food to-go orders from time to time, I watch her, and when somebody comes in the door, she knows. Well, most of your customers, a lot of your customers are repeat customers. You know them by name, and treat them like family. But she's very alert and very aware of everything around her.
Yeah, we're so fortunate to have her. I mean, I count my blessings every day, but we've been, over this past 20 years, we've seen the community grow. I've seen children grow from car seats to high school to college to some of the folks that have worked for us are making in the millions, whether they're doing it in real estate or they're in Hollywood. So we've watched the community grow over the years, and it's just an amazing feeling to see the progression of the city of Lewisville. Yeah.
You know who introduced me to Parma was a lady that works for me here at the restaurant, and I'm gonna say the name, and I've just bet anything I have, when I say the name, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about, because she has raised her child on Parma, and her name is Ruby.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Ruby. She works here with us, a very important employee here, but she introduced me, told me, I was talking about pizza one day, and she said, have you ever tried Parma? And I said, I don't even know what you're talking about. And she told me that was the very first time that I went over there. I got the chicken Murphy dish. And,
oh, wow.
Yeah. And but anyway, she loves that place. And she told me after that time, she said that she's been going there like for years.
Right.
Exactly what you're talking about. People just kind of come and stay.
Yeah.
How'd you meet your wife?
That's a really interesting story. So back home, she is from Macedonia as well. And like I said, my dad used to send us every year. We used to go as a family every summer. And I kind of fell in love with her over there. Unfortunately, it's a different system over there. When you want to get married, you need to get the family's blessing. And once I sent that notice out to the family, they were like, we're not sending our daughter to Dallas, Texas. Get out of here. They have their vision of, cowboys and Indians. So it was a tough sell to ask for her hand in marriage to the dad. And unfortunately, we had to elope. So we had to take matters in our own hands, and that didn't go very well with the family, so they sent a hit squad out to find us and recover their daughter. Well, after a week of relentless, trying to find us, they gave up, and they finally gave up and gave in and said, okay, well, you have our blessing now.
Yeah.
And an interesting story now is we're best friends. Her dad and my dad are like brothers. They live about 5 minutes away, so they brought their family here. And her brother works for SWAT at the DFW airport, and their family has been well integrated into the community. But it wasn't so easy in the beginning, but here we are.
So what you're saying is you're fortunate to still be walking around?
Exactly.
at least without a limp?
Right.
Yeah.
And all my fingers in place.
Well, you need them. So do you have children?
I do. I have 3 kids. They all work at the restaurant. The oldest is 20, and then I got a 16-year-old, and the 9-year-old. She's going to be our hostess. We're training her for hostess duties.
So is Parma, is your restaurant Parma, is it going to be a family restaurant forever? I mean, do you have intentions of passing it on to your kids?
Yes, exactly. Just the same way my father passed down his restaurant to me, I intend to, we've been getting hundreds of offers to sell and say, hey, we'd love to buy from all over. And we just, this is something that we really want the community, because that's the difference. Back in Jersey, there was a much bigger sense of community. We gathered and we kind of worked out our problems together. And I want to create that here in Lewisville, where we can help the community grow together and help one another. Like we say in our culture, one hand washes the other. The same thing is what we want here for Lewisville, especially for our team. Our staff and most of them have been working with us for over 10 years. And just that sense of community, it's like Cheers, like that old TV series, but this one is the Italian restaurant version of that.
Well, Adrian, you guys, talking about that, you guys do a lot of giving in the community. I mean, you support the law enforcement agencies. You do a lot of giving of your food to all different kinds of organizations in the town of Lewisville. Tell me about that.
Yeah, that's something that my dad instilled in me as a young child. If you give, you will get, and we've done that. We've been so fortunate. And we've been through some really tough times, through the trials and tribulations of our pandemic. We've been fortunate enough to support the Lewisville hospitals. We've supplied food for their whole medical staff, as well as the unfortunate passing of the assistant chief. We were, in a heartbeat, we were there to help out and feed the community for these difficult times. But also, we also donate or volunteer for other causes in the community. Lewisville is just has been a blessing for us, and we want to give back because we feel that that's the right thing to do.
Yeah. Well, since I've gotten to know Parma and gotten to know you, and have read a lot of stories about all that you do for the community, you have a very giving heart and a very giving spirit, and the whole community appreciates that. City management appreciates that. If you say Parma to the city management, they know exactly who I'm talking about, and they know exactly who you are. So that's a testament to all that you give back to the community. Is there a specific ingredient that you use that's family that you won't talk about?
Well, unfortunately, we are in a competitive business, and there's a few recipe cards that we have to keep locked up at the bank in the safe vault just for safety purposes. You know, I have to come in and make those items specifically myself, like the sauces and the doughs, just because we don't want that to carry over and have a competitor have that edge over us. So there is a few that I can't talk about, but...
so to this day, you put the apron on, you go into the restaurant, and you make sauces.
Before anyone else gets there.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I'll be. I can't even wrap my head around that. So how much time do you spend in the restaurant? Because you do other things outside.
Yeah, so basically I'm there to open and close. So I'll do a few hours in the morning, set up the sauces and the doughs, and then the team will get in there, the staff will open up shop, and then usually at night I'll be there to close, make sure everything's went smoothly. You know, my wife and my kids are there during the remainder of the day. But yeah, I'm in and out, and I have a lot I'm juggling now. I've been getting into the drone space for the past 12 years. I'm one of the lead FAA safety team drone pros that we're integrating UAS, into North Texas. Yeah. So I've been juggling the restaurant and the drone business on the side.
Yeah, what, the restaurant business doesn't take enough of your time? You got to do something else?
This is a passion of mine. I've always been into aviation, and I feel that this is the future of advanced aviation.
Yeah. Is it too early to talk about running for city council?
Yeah, I believe so. That's been one of my aspirations, and I'm trying to, get a little more support from the family and a lot of our, community. But they've been pushing for me to apply for that position, and I think that's something that I would help to serve the city of Lewisville a lot better.
There's no doubt about it. You would be a great asset to the city, but you know the city. You know the politics of the city, especially when it comes to small businesses. And boy, I would sure love to see you in there and see your mind in there. What's the future of Parma?
Well, Parma is going to continue to grow incrementally. We slowly and surely become better over time. And like I said, eventually the kids are going to run it, and hopefully they can keep the legacy. We're getting to the fourth generation now, and I think they have been inspired by what I've done, my father, my grandfather have done. So they work there religiously, and they're pushing me, constantly pushing me to innovate and jump to that net. They've been a force for us to digitize our restaurant, right? Yeah. To have more digital presence, because that's the future.
Yeah. And you're going, well, I don't know. I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in,
right.
But fortunately, kids kind of do that stuff naturally, so they'll grow right into it. Most influential person in your life?
Definitely my dad. I mean, he's been through so much, and to see him always have a smile on his face. He came to this country with $10 in his pocket, and It kind of outlines the American dream. If you work hard enough, and if you're fair and you give back, you can make it in this country. There's no free handouts. You have to work hard, and through all that sweat and perseverance, you can become a successful human being.
Yeah, it's all about attitude. Adrian, you have a great attitude. And I sit and talk to you, and I'm inspired by you. I'm motivated. I'm encouraged by you. Where does that come from? I mean, you just kind of exude positive.
Yeah, so, like I stated earlier, our background, we didn't come from much. So I remember I don't want to say good old days, but the bad old days when we didn't have enough. I mean, we struggled in the beginning when my dad first came to this country. And I remember on all the blessings I have now to what I didn't have back in the day. And so I try to keep an optimistic outlook, and I think that kind of rubs off around my surrounding atmosphere, my staff and my team, because nobody wants to be around a negative person. It just really weighs everyone down.
Yeah. Adrian, let me see how to ask this question. In your life, and you're an entrepreneur, obviously, and a very successful businessman, tell us about a failure that caused you to be better.
Well, There's been several of them. You can't succeed without failure. That's usually what motivates you to become better and more ingenious on your approach. So I failed. I mean, even in the beginning with Parmas, we failed. We didn't think we were going to make it. But through the glory of God, D Magazine walked in one day and said, wow, this food is amazing. And they put it on their magazine. And right before we thought we were going to shut down the lights and pack up and go, D Magazine put this amazing article about us. And there was a line around the block the next week. And we were like, holy cow.
Yeah, here we go.
And it's failures like that you realize, hey, maybe I should take a different approach. Maybe I need to work harder and stop lollygagging, and then eventually it'll come. And that's sure enough what happened. So you have to stick to your guns. You have to be consistent, and you have to have quality food and service.
Yeah, there's something to be said about perseverance. There's a principle there about persevering and keep moving forward, and just about the time that what you want to give up, keep moving forward. There's something about the blessings of God that come with that, don't you think?
Absolutely. I mean, every day we are so fortunate not only to have our health, but to have our family, our community, and just to appreciate whatever it is we have.
Yeah.
And that means a lot to us.
Yeah. Your mom, are you close to your mom?
Very close, yes.
What's the one thing that you do on a daily basis, maybe not daily, but almost, that your mom taught you growing up?
Well, she showed me a lot of tough love, but she did teach me. She instilled so many values. I mean, we'd take forever. It's just being fair is the overall, and always have a smile. People respond to a smile. Either they think you're up to something, or you're just super happy to be around them. So my mom, I thank her so much, and my dad also. I'm super fortunate to be brought up that way, and it's just been part of my success.
Yeah. So Adrian, these shows with people like you, they go really, really fast, and we're going to do this again because it took me forever to get you here because you're so busy. But Parma is on 3040, right?
Yes, sir.
And it's past what's the name of the
Euchre?
No, what's the name of the greenhouse? Callaway.
Oh yeah, Callaway.
It's right past Callaway on the right-hand side in the Strip Center. Yeah. And it's called Parma.
Yeah.
And you're open what hours?
So we've adjusted our hours after COVID. So Monday through Thursday, we're open up from 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. Then Friday, we're 11 a.m. till 10 p.m. And then Saturday, we're open 3 p.m. till 10 p.m. And then Sundays, we're closed. Sunday is family day.
There you go. Great restaurant, great Italian food, great hospitality, great family, really a good old-fashioned
Thank you, Terry. Thank you so much.
Family-owned business. Thanks for coming. Terry, let's go, buddy.